Even, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us. I keep trying to remind myself at the beginning of these, if you are enjoying these coaching videos, then just like and subscribe to our YouTube page. We put all these videos on our social media, so if you can, go and follow, we would greatly appreciate it. But down here in South Georgia again, and meeting today with Coach Todd Allen, the wrestling coach at Toombs County. Coach, we appreciate you having us.
Yeah.
Our boys are running around in the gym right now, so very, very thankful for that. But I start off by asking coaches, we talked a little bit in the other room about your coaching journey, but just let all those that don't know you, what your coaching journey has been and how you've ended up at Toombs County.
Yeah, when I graduated college, I wrestled in college. When I graduated, I went and was a graduate assistant at Cumberland University for a couple of years. And then when I got my master's degree, went into the workforce. I absolutely hated it. Hated sitting behind a desk for 8-10 hours a day. So then I was also in the military. I got deployed, went overseas, and was in Kuwait and Iraq for a year. While I was over there, there you go. Hopefully that doesn't go back out. The job at Cumberland University where I did my graduate work came open. And I applied to it on a whim. I was like, I'm not going to get it. I'm overseas. I got that job. So really, I was no assistant. I was an assistant, graduate assistant for a year and a half, and then jumped into the head coaching realm like right off the bat out of college. And coached there for 4 years, and then moved to Arkansas to Ouachita Baptist, a Division II school. Was there for 2 years, and I realized I was like, man, Division II, I don't want any piece of it. It's a pretty tough division to see some success at if you're not being a fully funded program, and it wasn't. Right. So I moved back to NAI. I went to Williams Baptist University in Northeast Arkansas, and we loved our time in Arkansas. Coached several tremendous teams, nationally ranked teams. Was there for 4 years. And then Jess Wilder at Camden reached out to me and asked if I was interested in going to high school. And at first I was like, no way, like this is my dream job at the college level. But then me and my wife started thinking about it. And so I can be involved in my kids' lives more in wrestling. All three of my kiddos wrestle. We decided to make the transition to high school, and we've been here ever since. Moved here 4 years ago, and loving Toombs County.
I love it, and I know it's one of the things we talked about, but and talking in the other room, shout out to your wife, yeah. And all the coaching wives. My wife was fantastic as well. That if you don't have somebody on the other side that supports you and can be there and that kind of stuff, it makes life a lot more difficult, which you have not experienced, which is great.
Yeah,
yeah. But again, shout out to all the coaches' wives, because the hours that you put in and everything, it makes it difficult. So having somebody that loves what you do and supports that is always great. So now that you've been here at Toombs for 4 years, you've been through college, you've seen what that looks like. What do you want your program, or what are you trying to build with your program? And well, really what I mean by that is, what do you want your program to be known for? If somebody wrestles against you each year, they go, this is what sticks out about Toombs wrestlers.
Yeah, so in the wrestling realm, there's several different, I guess, takes or styles that teams go for, like the Iowa styles, like that gritty, grind them. The Penn State is more of like free for all, free thinking. I tend to lean a little more towards that. I guess at the end of the day, on the wrestling side, what I want my guys, if someone was to look at our program, I'd want them to think, to have a feeling that my guys know how to critically think on the mat, which is, I guess, a unique. It's kind of leaning towards that way now with Penn State. Ben Askren, who is a pretty well-known coach and wrestler, he tends to lean more towards the technique and innovative side of things instead of the grit and grittiness that Iowa has. So I don't think we're definitely not an Iowa style team. I want my guys to be innovative and think through the process of wrestling. That's on the wrestling side, and then I think for me on a personal side, I want my guys, and this is a weird, I guess, word to use, but especially with wrestling, but the word love is always like comes back to. I want my guys to know that Coach loved them. And any of the guys or girls that I've coached, like I don't want them to think, even kids that quit. Like that's been an interesting thing on the high school side. Is kids that quit my team because they couldn't handle it or whatever it may be. I see him in the halls and I'm like, "What's up, John?" And he's like weird about it, and I'm like, "Just because you quit my team doesn't mean I hate you." So. I want kids to know that I love them when I coach them. Yeah.
Well, I think that is important. I think a lot of coaches talk about family and wanting to make it. And like I used to tell my parents, like, look, I'm going to spend more time with your kids during the season than you will.
Yeah.
And so, it is important that they understand that it can not necessarily say in a safe space, but like you want them to be able to come to you with things, because you get out there and wrestling and they're not focused. There's a reason. If they can talk to you and talk about it and, know that you love them and care about them, that it makes things easier. So what's one story that kind of sticks out? Could be in your college days, could be now. Like, what's one of your favorite stories about coaching?
I've coached some pretty high level guys. 4-time state champs out of high school. I've coached a few national champs, a few runner ups, a few runner up teams. But I always tell one story about a young man named Joe Hill. He wrestled for me at Cumberland University, and he's now the head coach at Bob Jones in Alabama.
Yep.
But he came to me, and he was this like unathletic, kind of dumpy kid, and I was like, man, this kid is never gonna start for us, and he didn't really. I mean, he started a few matches and stuff, but he was never an impact guy for us. But I want to feel I had an impact in him. He wrestled for me for 3 years and then decided to go back home and finish his degree. But I saw him transform his body by committing to wrestling, and that was just a pleasure to see. He transformed his body composition. He lost a ton of weight, became more athletic, learned, and became a student of the sport. And now to see him leave my sphere of influence and go on and impact other people has just been awesome to watch. And now he's killing things over at Bob Jones. He's got a phenomenal staff, a D1 wrestler on his staff. Like, I'm like, Joe Hill, like that, the same unathletic Joe Hill that I would do foot drills with like every day at the end of practice because his feet were so slow. That same Joe Hill is like killing it in the Alabama high school realm, and that's those kind of stories are the ones that like I love and appreciate. And we had one from this year, like a kid that graduated for me and super unathletic kid, and kind of bought into wrestling. And we took a trip down and wrestled with Camden before Dead Week, and right after school was out, we wrestled with them, and he went with us. He graduated, but he went with us, and he's like, he didn't start until his sophomore year, and ended up being a 2-time state placer. And he's just like, I wish I'd have bought in more, and that makes me happy because I want my guys and girls now. I want them to know and appreciate the sport for what it is, and it's not just a sport. It's super impactful on their life, many years down down the road. So.
Oh yeah, and those stories are cool too, because especially when they realize that if they can turn and relay that message to the younger ones. We had a kid years ago who was, if you're watching, you know who you are, who messed around in class for 2 years, and his senior year, Georgia State wanted him. Well, he had to make straight A's, if I remember correct. He had to make straight A's his senior year to be able to get into Georgia State. It wasn't like, oh, you know, hey, we're going to get you in because you're an athlete. Like, he had some work to do, and he stood up. He took it upon himself to stand up and talk to the whole team, and a lot of the freshmen that were, you know, farting around and that kind of stuff. You could see their ears perk up and kind of listen. So that is really cool. So, you know, talking about your guys moving on to become head coaches, which is always cool. What's a piece of advice that you could give to somebody who thinks they want to become a head coach? Like, could be something that they don't know is coming, you know, maybe something you didn't realize, or what's something somebody who's young and wants to become a head coach needs to know?
I would say don't rush it. Don't rush it. Coming out of college, I was like, you know, I'm gonna be head coach, you know, and I was a head coach super early, and I almost feel like I missed out on some teaching moments that I could have had from someone that was more experienced.
Yep.
Early on, and I've made tons of mistakes along the way. I could go on for days about those, but I think I could have learned without feeling the pain a little bit from being an assistant coach for a while. And I was talking to I have a community coach, and he's phenomenal. His name's Trey Cranford. He's the manager at Chick-fil-A, and he comes and helps almost every practice. And we were talking one day, and I was like, dude, do you want to be a head coach? Because it was one of those little ad hoc little comments I made. And he's like, heck no. He's like, being the assistant coach is the best job in the country. He's like, all I got to do is bring you coffee and carry this bag, like, and then just get to coach wrestling. He's like, I love this job. He's like, I would not want to be a head coach. I'm like, I miss that, you know. So I would just say to those head coaches, or to those aspiring to be head coaches, don't rush it. Don't rush it. Take your time, learn. It's worth it.
I agree. Yes, and you learn stuff that you don't even realize you learn until you got to take those phone calls and you got to do the stuff. When you were an assistant, you see it going on and go, I'm going home.
Yeah, you don't even think anything of it as an assistant.
Absolutely. So, well, listen, I do appreciate all that. Great information. You know, one of the big ideas behind Coach Dooley's list is trying to connect coaches with good vendors. You know, there's lots of good vendors out there, and searching the internet, you know, we're trying to have a one-stop shop where they can find them. So if you have a vendor shout out, somebody you work with that you love and trust.
Yeah. Having been on the college side for a while, I've used this company for our singlets and some gear. They do hoodies and sweatpants and all that whole get up for wrestling. But it's a wrestling specific gear, and they're kind of fly under the radar. They're not super well known, but it's Valdus Performance Clothing out of Ohio. I kind of randomly found them when they were first starting up about 8-9 years ago, and they've stuck with me the whole time. You know, going through different schools and whatnot. But they actually made our state qualifier singlets this year, which are, I mean, I'll pull it out. Valdus Performance Clothing. We'll give a shout out to them, I guess.
No, and they're not on the website, but they will be as soon as the new website's up and running in June. That's cool.
Pretty cool.
I like it.
Kind of a baseball feel. So, but yeah, they've stuck with me for a while. Great pricing on their singlets. Quick turnaround. I mean, I can get a singlet in about 3 weeks. That was done in 3 weeks, which is design, everything. Plus, pricing's good, and the best thing about it is Brad there will accommodate you. Like, he's super customer oriented, super helpful. So, shout out to Valdus.
No, that's awesome, and I'm going to get them added. Valdus, I will be reaching out to you next week. And Coach, I really do appreciate taking the time. I know school's out, and you got to come up and meet with us this morning, so I appreciate you taking the time.
No problem. Flip-flops rocking.
Oh, yes. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thanks. Appreciate you, man.